Hi everybody, this is Terry and I garden in Zone 7B in the South in the United States. Today I'm going to give you a garden tour, a spring garden tour that is, of the new bed that I created last fall. So let me go ahead and show it to you. So we're going to start here, the area closest to the driveway, and then we're going to work our way up to the area under the canopy of that tree. It is a very long bed, so I will try my best to keep it short. I might not be able to go through all the plants, but I just want you to get an idea of what everything looks like right now. So I got the oak leaf hydrangeas, and they're doing so well. This is their second season. They got eaten by a deer at some point, and they got hit by the low temperatures that we had been getting. So, but they're flushing back really well. And I got 3 new radiance rhododendrons that we just passed. Here's another one, and I just got that earlier this year. And then little limes, I got 2 of them, and this is their second season, going on their second season, and they're doing really well. Early wonder Camellia japonicas. If I didn't mention to you, most of these were transplanted from various areas of my garden. So most of these are evergreens for me. And then in front of you is the banana shrub. I love that plant because the blooms smell like really fresh bananas. They smell really good, and you can stand pretty far away, and if the wind is blowing right, you'll smell it. It smells really good. So I noticed some buds yesterday. There's one. This one, some of the petals fell off already. So, and it got some winter damage. And if you look back at my old videos, you notice that this was a transplant from the area underneath the canopy of that tree in the back. So now this area right here gets full sun. It's being shaded by some trees right now, but this area will get really hot sun later on. Oh, and then not the Dusty Miller, but the lamb's ear. And I learned recently that they are very drought tolerant, so they thrive actually when you don't give them any water, or very little water. So that was nice to know. And that's one of the things about my garden. The theme is that I want it to be low maintenance, and I love plants that are drought tolerant. So the reason for this creation of this bed is because of this Japanese maple and the deciduous azalea in the background there. Let me point it to you right there. And then the other Japanese maple over there. So I planted these in 2019, and they were not doing so good. Mostly the Japanese maples, and I know that in my area here, my space here, I know that plants, let me back up, sorry about that, so let me start over. So I know that in my space here, Japanese maples and basically plants do really well because we get regular rain, and the soil is really good for being clay. So, well, clay is technically really good in the first place, but it's just hard to dig. But anyway, I noticed when I wasn't into gardening yet that everything just looked so lush. You see that? Everything just always looks so lush, and everything just seems to grow really, really well. So that's how I know that the plants that I grow here will take off very quickly, or very quickly. But I noticed that these were still not growing like they should. So, and then they used to be in the gravel area, and they have tap roots, so they would need the nice sunlight, you know, not the gravels to impede their growth. Although, you know, I did have the area around the tree without gravel around it, but it was still struggling for some reason. So that's why I decided to go ahead and move the Japanese maples and the azaleas over here, so that way they'll have the freedom to go ahead and grow like they should. And I think they are just doing so great this year. I am so impressed with them. So that means that I guess I did the right thing. So, and that's why I just went ahead and created this new bed. And then also, it'll give me space to put some seating stuff, and I don't know, just some nice furnitures or whatever in the future. And I have like the whole space to work with. And I noticed that also with the Japanese maples being there, it's kind of made the space seem smaller, the gravel area. So by moving everything back or forward, extending the bed, it's going to give me a lot more space when the Japanese maple will be a lot taller. It'll give me a nice canopy and a nice shaded area here. So it's been a win-win for the plants and me. So anyway, sorry for the long-winded story, but I just thought you would like to know that. I am still dealing with grass seedlings here, so I pulled most of it out, but you can still see there's still some left. And I am dealing with ants as well, so the white powdery stuff is like they're ant bait. So anyway, that's why you see them there. And then Moore's lamb's ear. These right here are the abelias. This is my lovely deciduous azalea, and every year this is their, I believe I bought this in either 2019 or 2020. I want to say 2020. Anyway, I wish I had kept better record of everything. You know, like at the time, you're like, oh yeah, I'll remember it. You always think that, but you don't, because you have a lot of other things to put in your brain. So I would definitely recommend that you put some kind of, put it in writing somehow. Like, for example, I think I'm gonna do that from now on. Like, I'll write 2022, then I'll write like what plants I purchased that year to plant, so that way I'll know exactly when I planted each one of these. Cross my fingers that I'm going to do that. So you know what? The deer love eating the blossoms or the buds on these. So every year I keep forgetting to spray with liquid fence, and because of that I only get one or two, if I'm lucky, 3 blooms. But they're not interested in the foliage for some reason, so I thought that was interesting. And this one produces kind of like light orange blooms, and so in the winter the leaves die off, but you get the buds staying on um, the plant. So that's very interesting to me. That grass-like plant right there, that's the red hot polka dot. It gives orange blossoms. All right, and then those 3 white or 4 white-like plants here, those are Dusty Miller, and I love them. I have so many of them. So I bought, I guess 3 or 4 small containers. I think it's like the smallest you can buy. There would be like 3 or 4 plants. So I would plant them. I would, like divide them up and then plant them. So if you're price conscious like me and you're on a budget, you can't afford to buy plants, which I have a big space, so I really can't afford to buy a lot of plants. So anyway, yeah, it works really well, and they grow really fast. So these, when I bought them, they were even smaller than this. Maybe just like right here, one stem like this, and just plant it. They're drought tolerant too, and they will grow so fast. So no need to buy like so many of them. Same thing with the lamb's ear. These were really, really small. I bought one plant. It's actually my son's plant. He picked it out. And from that one plant, I'm able to get, so there's 6 here, probably 11, 12 plants. And they grow really fast too. So again, no need to buy a lot of them if you don't want like instant gratification. Just buy one plant, grow it for a season, and then in the fall just divide them up, and you'll get so many the next season. And these ones right here, they're the lace cap hydrangeas, and I don't think they came with a tag, and it was like the only 1 or 2 left. And I can't remember if I just bought one and divided, split them up. That's the other thing too. I try to, when I buy plants, I try to buy just one plant, but look for plants that can be divided into multiple plants. So most of the time I would buy one plant and I would divide into two different plants. And so that's a neat trick if you don't want to spend the money or don't have the budget to spend on plants. Same thing with these camellias. I also split them up. I believe they're the same type as the other ones that I mentioned earlier, the Everwonder. And then those 3 lovely yellow balls, arborvitae-like, are the false cypress. I really love them, and they complement the red and this other yellow bleeding heart really well. So I love this little corner I have with the white Dusty Miller, and then the yellow of the false cypress and the bleeding heart. So we are approaching the shaded area soon. So this looks like this gets mostly morning sun and a little bit of afternoon sun. The afternoon sun, I don't think it's that bad here. So anyway, I am so looking forward to these peonies. It's called the Lady Anna peonies, and this is my first season seeing them bloom. I bought them last year, like already having buds, but I don't know what happened. The buds just fell off and they looked like they were struggling, and I wasn't sure if they were getting the right planting condition. But anyway, I moved it a few times to different locations, and finally I just decided to plant them here, and it turns out really well. They love this space as far as I know. So I know that most of the time people say that you're not going to get buds the next year, or you're not going to get going to get the blooms. But look at these guys. There are so many blooms, and I want to say it's me, but I believe the soil here, the soil in my space, is really good. So you see that? There's several buds there too. So I am totally excited to see these guys bloom, and I'm definitely going to be posting it on Instagram. If you're not following me, I'm on Instagram under Let's Grow For It. I post about twice a week, so you'll see more of my plant progress and any blooms that are currently going on. I love to showcase those on Instagram. This is my Edgeworthia. This is its second season here. It has very fragmented, is that how you say it? Well, anyway, it has a nice fragrance to it, and the leaves are just so big. So when they bloom, you just see the blooms. The leaves don't come out yet. So, and they got some suckers. I'll have to take those out. But anyway, this is going to grow up to be a nice plant for me, and I'm going to shape it so it looks like an umbrella. So now we are approaching the dapple sun area, and then we're going to go to the mostly shaded area. Okay, so I decided to go ahead and put my eucalyptus. I want to say this is, I can't remember the exact variety. It's I think it's a silver dollar. I think that's what we call it. So these are very finicky. Like I'll grow them, and then some will die. So I noticed that they don't like the hot sun as much. Right now it's fine because the weather's not so hot, but later on it will struggle. So I'm putting it here, hoping that it'll help with the canopy of the tree later on. I'm experimenting with one and putting it in the shade, the hostas, to see if that one will thrive. So, and then excuse the weedy mess here. This bed's not completely done. I wasn't going to really extend it to this section, but I just went ahead and did it, and then I will be planting more. This area is dedicated to putting in rhododendrons, but I haven't found the right ones or the azaleas to put here yet, so it's kind of like an empty location right now. I decided to plant this Daphne. It's the Daphne Marginata. I can't remember the exact variety, but it is a Daphne. It was sitting in my house, but it was blooming so well, and then the bloom just kind of died. So that's when I knew that it needed to be outside. I'm not sure if this is the best location for it. It may need to be moved, but right now we'll see how it goes. Okay, now we're moving to hosta area. So I decided to plant a lot of hostas here, knowing that I might run into deer issue, but I just had a lot of hostas, so I divided them, put them in here. Before I get to the hostas, I just recently bought this. It's a Rhododendron PJM Elite. So I believe I bought this for $14, so I thought it was a good buy, so I went ahead and got it. This is what these look like right now. So I'm planning to add more things. So these are autumn ferns, and they do so well here. They're actually evergreens where I am. And then the Japanese painted ferns. Let me back up so you can see. Oh, I forgot to mention earlier to you about that banana shrub. It can tolerate shade, but if you put it in the sun, it turns yellow. So it's yellow. The more sun you give it, the yellow it gets. And the more shade, the more green it gets. But it prefers sunlight, full sun. Here's a fern that's native here, just growing wild, so I just thought I picked one. I saw one and just transplanted it there. And I transplanted the carex over here, the white ones over there. They used to be in the shade, so it was one clump. I divided those into 3, and same thing with the liriope. Now, I heard that you cannot kill liriopes at all. So I decided to divide them up and transplanted them here because this area is pretty boggy, so I need them to help with the water. So this is, there's a slope here. This is not a good area, so we'll have to bring in more soil. There's it's on an incline anyway. And then there's another type of carex. This is the Everillo variety type. Same thing with this. So I bought one pot of plant, and divided these up, I want to say into like at least 10. So and one died. It got eaten by the deer, and for some reason it never survived, but all the other ones did. So I got 4 here, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have 8 plants here. So I cannot remember how many total I planted, but anyway, you can see that with just one clump, like you can just take this and just divide them up and then just plant them. If you can wait, like you don't need the instant gratification to see everything all full and lush right away. You can do what I did. So these were in like one little plant stock that I put in here, and look at how much they've grown. So that's what I do here. You can see I have a lot of space, and I know that some of you like that, but I wish that my space was a lot smaller so I don't have to buy so many plants. Anyway, over there are rosemary, and they don't really like it here so much because it gets mostly shade, but in the late afternoon it will get some sun. But I planted them. I pretty much plant rosemary in all my gardens, and I have so many of them for deer deterrent. So that's the reason. And I planted these here because I have a lot of hostas here. And then this is the compact viburnum that every year, this is the second year that gets eaten by the deer. So I can't remember the name, and let's see the tag. Arrowwood viburnum. So this is the first year that it's grown nicely without being eaten. Anyway, that is it. That's all I have. So let me see. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know down below. Otherwise, I hope you have a great day and see you next time. Bye-bye.